may be a little far away, but you're not far from distance, right? How are you, love? I hear you're traveling. We're going to miss you. Hi, Jasmine. Welcome on. I'm having so much trouble trying to get this. Should have went and replaced it by now. Good evening. Okay. And welcome, Vessel for Jesus, Vanessa Bolin, Braswell, Nikki, Anthony, Natasha, welcome. Ears of God. Oh, Aura, seeing you lights me up. Keish, we got the Carolinas in. Bishop Wright, how goes it, sir? Hey, Cheryl Johnson Wright. Carmen Jones, welcome. Come on in. Keish, you due for a visit. I think you need some charging up of your battery. Deja, Minister Cherie, Charity, Deborah Johnson, welcome everyone. Come on in. Cindy, let's pray. Welcome. Mishi, welcome. Cheryl, Wilberg, Joy, Minister Joy, Carter Townsend, come on in. Welcome home. Welcome home. Oops. Periscope, I have my headset in. Were y'all able to hear me? I saw people waving. Good evening, Rhonda West. Oh, y'all heard me. Welcome, Natasha. Say hello to everyone. We want to jump right on in. Woo. That's right, Cheryl. Hello, Apostle Ramai. Good evening, Ephesians 4:11 teacher, Will Torres. CW, welcome. Hey, Sharita. Oh, we're coming in good tonight. Let's go. Du Bois, I don't think I've seen your name in a while. What's up? Hello, Tasha Ross. Hello, Christine. Welcome, Kevin. Joy, those hearts are beautiful. I'm letting my computer start up so I can get my notes and we can jump right on in. Come on, say hello to each other. And let's get this party started. Hello, Anya. Evangelist Barbara, welcome. Maria. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, our regulars. Good to have you on tonight with us. Trying to get things a little situated here, and we're going to get started. What's up, Cheryl? How's everyone doing? Oh, yeah. Well, tell me who really does have the best seat in the house. Who has the best seat in the house? Make sure my cameras are clear. Stay with me. I'm not putting you away. Trying to make sure my cameras are clear. There we go. That looks a little better to me. That was blurry for a minute. All right. Come on. Welcome. All right. Computer's booted up. Get my notes. Kelly, happy birthday to you. Welcome, Kelly Gilbert. Brandell. Ooh, all right. The fire of the Lord got me content. Very good. So glad to see y'all on tonight. I pray that everyone's doing well. Victy. I pray that everyone is doing well. How are you since our last breakfast? If you missed the breakfast, we have posted it on the app. Hopefully you have the app. Hello, Roberta. Hopefully you have the app. We're this close to having everything complete. Anya and I are going to be running some tests this week on posting the broadcast live right on the app. And also with that, you will get a notification like you do when every other app needs an upgrade or anything. You'll see a notification for So Detox app, and it would tell you that we're live, and it would tell you when we posted some new information or instruction, or if I'm on there just giving private viewing to our delegates only. Absolutely. So Stay with us. We are really working hard. We're trying. No, we're not trying. We are getting ready for January. You know we're going to do Soul Detox for 30 days in January again. I had a few people inbox me and ask me that if in January, can I post last year's Soul Detox every day so that it can stay fresh before us and keep us working on it. And I say, yes, absolutely I can. However, I'm going to be giving you something fresh in January. We're going to do another 30 days, which means we'll start January 2nd and we'll go all the way to the end of the month. Hello. And we'll go all the way to the end of the month. And we'll just see where we go from there and how things work out. But I'm excited. We're just trying to go higher and higher and bring things in better and better. We're not going back. We're not stopping where we are. We are delegates, and we are given a delegated authority to carry everything that has been entrusted and commissioned to us. So we're going higher and higher and higher and higher. Who's going with me? Come on, let me see some hands. You know those hands that look like this? Who's going with me? Hey, Cole Thomas. Praise God, Will. Absolutely. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, here we go. All of my information seems to be downloading. It's coming, it's coming. It's coming. Hello, hello. That's right, come on. Let's go. We're going to do another 30 days in January. I need your commitments. I need your commitments. Y'all stop giving me testimonies. Well, a few people are still giving me testimonies. New people are giving me testimonies. But some of y'all who had committed to the 30 days with me, I'm not hearing from you. Did you fall off? Are you keeping up with your 30 days? What's going on with you? Are you keeping up with January, or did you let it all fall? Where are we at? What's going down? Come on, we got another Unshakable. Come on and download. So make sure you download the app, please. At this point, where you would go is to the app section on your iPhone or your Android. And you will go on to your apps section and you will download something called My Church Apps. My Church Apps. And once you download My Church Apps, from there, you will download Soul Detox. You'll see in the search bar. You will type up in that search bar, Soul Detox. And that's where you download the app. You'll be privileged to a lot of information that everyone's not privileged to. There'll be special information going on there, special broadcasts, special sections for talks and debates. And it's not downloading Shakeable 4, so I guess we're going to have to give this thing a minute. I had internet problems all day long, and I just think it's trying to catch up. So I use the old trusty laptop to get the work done. All right, chapter 4. We are becoming unshakable. How many of y'all are becoming unshakable? Come on, let me see hands again. Come on, Apostle Emmanuel, welcome. I see you, Tamika. I see you, Pastor D. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. Come on in. Yes, you are, Apostle Emmanuel. You are online. Good to see you, too. Carmen Jones, good to see you. So good to see you. Okay, again, just to remind you, and for those who are on for the first time tonight, that we are coming from Apostle John Eckhart's book. He did a great work, in my own opinion, on the book called Unshakable. Apostle John Eckhart's book is called Unshakable. Elder Manny, welcome. Reverend Cherie, welcome. And I had asked everyone to get the book, and some people are calling it a little book club this month, and that's fine with me. What I'm working on doing with you really is a, I don't know what this is a rereading, a retelling of Unshakable by Apostle John Eckhart. Ooh, excuse me. This cold from Florida. I went to Florida and got sick. Who does that? Went to Florida and got sick, and this thing will not completely leave my body. It's the craziest thing I ever had. Craziest thing I ever had. Exactly. So the book is, Minister Caritha, you can go to wherever you get books from. You can download an ebook from Amazon. You can go to your Kindle, whatever phone apps you have or whatever. I have recommended that y'all get the audio version. The audio version, because it is actually being reread by the author. So because he has over 30 plus years of deliverance ministry experience, he is in fact performing deliverance on the hearer. He's reading the book himself, chapter by chapter, and after a certain part, like maybe chapter 8 or something, he's going to begin doing some minor deliverance over the reader. So he has 30 plus years of experience in deliverance ministry. I don't think you could be in safer hands than that. So I recommend you getting Apostle John Eckhart's book. The book is entitled Unshakable. To me, it is a fabulous work that he has done. And I don't know how I've taken on this assignment, but I've taken on this assignment. Don't even know the apostle. I respect him highly, especially from his work. I respect him highly also just by some of the periscopes and things that I have followed about him, that he seems to be a very integrous man of God. I've followed a few of his spiritual sons and daughters who seem to carry that same integrity as he carries. So I think it's wonderful, and the Lord has championed me to be a supporter of his work. So I'm excited about it, and I'm grateful. And I'm more and more grateful that I'm able to share that with y'all and bring a blessing to this house. Okay, I think the volume's good. And that's what we're doing. The book is Unshakable, Apostle John Eckhart, and it is a fabulous work. And I'm asking you to get the audio version. So welcome on tonight. We're going to finish tonight. We're on chapter 4. Chapter 4, I still am going to keep my word, and I'm going to bring on someone great, hey Marcus, to give us some feedback on when rejected personalities, or when someone with rejection joins your church, your committee, your company, your team. When someone with rejection becomes a friend in your life, maybe someone that you're dating and you've never dealt with anyone with rejection before, and maybe you don't even realize that it is rejection. But I'm going to tell you this, based on the phone calls that I'm doing. I do a lot of counseling. And based on the phone calls that I'm doing, rejection is very subtle. It's very sneaky. And this is the thing. If you are not delivered from being rejected, it is very hard for you to deal with someone who's rejected, because it's almost that they attack you. And if you aren't healed and you are defensive, you are going to be in the attack mode with them. It's going to be a reaction to their action. And I'm telling you, it's volatile. The relationship is volatile. And I don't recommend it at all. So, just to give you some quick examples, that people who deal with rejection, they're always on the suspect. They're always on the not the offense, but the defense, that someone's out to get them. Someone has done something to them. Paranoia, we learned last week, runs with the root of rejection. Rebellion runs through with the root of rejection. And people are usually always thinking that you're up to something. Never really being able to appreciate the good, but always looking out for the bad. Unfortunately, in many cases, that is a very wise person as well. But in the case where it is extreme, where it is affecting relationships, work, finances, your sleep, your character, your personality, there is a problem, and you need to be detoxed in your soul. So that's why we're here dealing with this book called Unshakable. But the work really is about the personality of rejection, or for those who are spiritual on here with me tonight, it's about the spirit of rejection. So tonight, we're doing really, really good. I'm still feasting on when rejection enters the church, or when rejection enters the workplace. What does it look like? How does it show up? And how do you handle it? And it can be very, it's a very cliquish personality. It looks for clicks. It looks for people who are like them, or people who are hurt or broken. This particular person with this personality, they look for people who are cast away, left out, abandoned, and even naive. And they look to use you for their ploy and their plot. And usually what happens is they get you on their train of all fences that they have, and they cause you to lose out on great relationships or friendships that you have made with people that you have had no problem with. But because they've had a problem with them, they kind of work your naiveness and sway you in a direction that continually causes you to lose opportunities of great opportunities, great people, great relationships. So we're going to continue on tonight. I can't go back to that chapter even though it's in my soul, but I believe we're going to do an extra soul detox because I do have a wonderful man that has had a lot of experience with rejection in the church, with cliques in the church, and he just wants to give us feedback, especially for us who are senior leaders, second in command, associate leaders, ministers, up-and-coming ministers, and just those who love their church and want to protect their church. He's going to give us some great input on what he has experienced and how he's recognized it and how it has really split many great works up, and it left so many people offended and hurt. Amen? So welcome on tonight. We're dealing with becoming unshakable. We're coming from chapter 4 of Apostle John Eckhart's work, Unshakable. Amen? So here we go. Are you ready to go? Are you with me tonight? Can you hear me? Is the hearing good? Is the seeing good? Can we roll? Come on, talk to me. Can we roll? Come on, I see hearts. Come on, get out your journals, get your pens, get your pencils. Let's go. We're becoming accountable as we become unshakable. We are going to be, hey, welcome, Beverly Ann from Atlanta. Did you bring that snow to Atlanta? All right, they're saying, let's roll. Let's roll. Storm within a storm. Kind of what I was talking about already with everyone tonight. A storm within a storm. That is when two rejected people or two rejected personalities end up connecting, living together, becoming associates together. When two unstable people connect together, it has a storm within a storm reaction going on. If you're in a stormy relationship, a stormy friendship, a stormy marriage, it might be in part that two rejected people have become one who are trying to live together, associate together, and what has happened is what they have created is a storm within a storm. And they'll have many touch-ups and many touchdowns, and that does not give an assurance that things are going to clear up one day. What that tells you is that we are unstable in all our ways. Our scripture that we've been talking with comes from the book of James. Are y'all with me tonight? So I want you to look out for storms within the storms. Are you connected to people who are unstable, and are you unstable? If so, these relationships, whether they be work, office, church, or domestic, are going to be stormy relationships. Storm within a storm. Thank you, Katrina. She's posting it. Somebody's already saying, my God. All right. So this can go from the minister who's anointed one day to having powerful prayers, helping people get their prayers answered or going through deliverance, and then have periods where they just disappear. They're running through sin. They're falling in perversion. This is an unstable person. And unstable is an offspring of a rejected person. Very good. Very good. Unstable is an offspring of a rejected person. So this can be from the minister in the church who is highly anointed, up one day praying for everyone and seeing prayers being answered and blessings being manifested and fruit is coming forth. Then the next day you don't see them, or the next week you don't see them, or 2 Sundays you don't see them anymore. Then they fall into periods of sin, periods of perversion on their life. That's an unstable person. And that unstable, remember, is a shoot from rejection. It can also be from the believer, someone who maybe just believes in God, or they believe in God and they attend his fellowship, who has a strong Christian life. Someone that you model after. You know, I want this part of their prayer life. I want this part of their commitment. I want to be loyal like them. I want to be on time like them. Just something about them just always seems to you to be a reflection of a stronger Christian. And then all of a sudden they have periods of backsliding. And you fall into a place now where you're wondering, you know, what is going on with this person? Are they a hypocrite? Are they really who they say they are? Is there something wrong with me that I thought this person was a great role model, but they're up one day and down the next? This is a person who has decided to live with rejection because they have settled for the stable days that are always perfectly balanced by the unstable days. People think they're crazy, schizophrenic. They're even called hypocrites. And they look as though they're hypocrites. But what they really are battling through a traumatic incident or many traumatic incidents that have happened in their life that have caused them now to be unstable. It can also be the outgoing, cheerful person who has always cheered you on, always been the person at the door that has been excited, or the one that you guys can always depend on to have a nice phone call or a card in the mail or a nice text in the morning. And then all of a sudden, you don't see them anymore. They're in isolation and depression. It's like, what type of personality does this person have that they're up one day and down the next? They are unstable. And coming from our scripture in James, the Bible tells us who believes in the Bible that an unstable person is not just unstable with you. They are not just unstable at their job. They are not just unstable at their church. They are not just unstable in their relationship. They are unstable in all of their ways. Say that with me. They are unstable in all their ways. Because if you take it personal, you are not going to be able to minister to this person, help this person, or even just be some stability in this unstable person's life. Rejection is massive, Marcus, and you're right. And it can be from the hard worker and perfectionist. And then they have periods of lethargy and sloppiness. And you're like, this isn't your work. I've had to call co-workers in like this. This isn't your work. I've had to call ministers in when I've seen some of the credentialing exams that we got back in, or tests that they were taking in ministry school. I'm like, this is just not your work. What has happened to you? You're a hard worker, almost to the point that you're a perfectionist. And now it's like you could care less. You've kind of fall back. You're kind of content. Your work is sloppy. What's going on with you? And then we find out it's not a discipleship problem. It's not a studying problem. It's a personality problem. They have been traumatized by some form of rejection or perceived rejection in their life that is affecting their adulthood. All right? It can be the person who is gentle, the person who is kind, and then have periods of outbursts and rage. Like, I don't know you like this. You know, from the co-worker that you call to the side in the cafeteria, to the sister that you call out to the parking lot in the church. You know, this isn't like you. You're in rage over everything. Everything's bothering you. You're disgruntled. You're on the offensive end. You're on the accusing end. This is not like you. What is going on? They're like, this is like me. I've just held it in for a long time. So now we greeted the passive aggressive person, that if you minister to the passive aggressiveness, you're still going to miss the root of what has affected their personality, and it is the rejection. So if we're going to minister, if we're going to pastor, if we're going to start churches, we have to understand that this is way more important than just preaching. Way more important than just preaching. People need deliverance. People need healing, and they need time to heal. You can't put gifted people in gifted positions. I got an asterisk there. That requires character, integrity, stability, commitment, loyalty. You can put a gifted person in a gifted position, but you cannot put them in a position that requires loyalty, commitment, stability. Come on, someone tell me tonight before I jump in a little bit further. You go ahead, Aura. She's making me laugh on Periscope. Tell me quickly, what does relationship and covenant require? Come on, let's go. What does relationship and covenant require? Who's going to be the one to tell me tonight? Relationship and covenant. What does it require? Aura, Anya, stability. Relationships and covenants require stability. Thank you, Nisi, my Periscope family. They require stability. And when you are not stable, you cannot offer commitment. When you are unstable, you cannot offer relationship or covenant because you're not stable. Listen, I want to share something with you. It's even to the serious point that I've had someone call me and say, they're in counseling with me, and they said, you know, I've got a chance to get out of my contract and get onto a contract with someone else. It's a better rate. My plan is $90 a month. On this plan, I'll just be another line on their plan, and it'll be for $30 a month, and it's going to save me money. Apostle, you're helping me budget every month, and you're teaching me how to budget, and you're teaching me how to put money in the bank and how to be a blessing, and also how to pay my bills on time, and my credit numbers they're going up. So I found a good way to save some money. And I'm going to end my contract, which is $90 a month, and I'm going to get a contract with someone who's $20 a month, and I'm going to save $70 whole a month. What do you think? Do you think there's anything wrong with that? And I was just going to go ahead and do it because I felt it was a stupid question, but I'm going to ask you because you are helping me with my budgeting, and I don't want to be unstable and say that I need you to help me budget and then the next day make decisions on my own. I need to show stability in everything that I do. So what do you think? So I began to talk to them and show them all the ways that for the last 30 days they have shown instability in their life. So this is a covenant. This is a contract that you're going to get on with this person. Not for 30 days, for 2 years. You're going to get on for 2 years with this person. 2 years. So when you get on for 2 years with this person, and we have not even hit the iceberg, we haven't even melted the ice yet to teach you what it means to be stable and to keep you on a consistent path, what do you think is going to happen when you save $90 a month, $70 a month, and lose that friendship? Have y'all seen it? You're going to save $70 a month, and your phone's going to be turned off in about 3 months. You're going to save $70 a month, and you're going to be in small claims court because you've stuck someone with a new phone and a contract. I get calls like this because I also do budgeting. I don't just help with the soul. I help people be developed as ministers and prophets and, leadership. And so they're trusting me with their finances when they call to get help for finances. And again, I stress it again, relationships and covenants require stability. If you are not stable, do not do contracts and covenants and relationships with people. You are not ready yet. It's not that hard. But if you value the relationship, if you value the friendship, do not do it. Keep paying the extra $70 to preserve the relationship. The relationship is worth it. Very good, Crystal. The cost is high for loss of a friend. Absolutely. And reputation. Because once a friend is scorned, they may be now an enemy. And enemies will take time to share every bad thing you ever did, especially if it's only one time, and never share the 99 things that you did well while you were friends with them. You ever notice that? That a good friend will end up being a greater enemy? And your relationship has been for years, and they've never gone around telling everybody the good things that you've done, how you helped them through pain and heartache, and you were there when their children was born, and you were there when their parents died, and you went through their graduation, you were there when they had their breakup, and you two have always had a relationship where you helped each other balance the budgets when each other's was short. You carried each other. Such a great relationship. But as soon as that relationship is troubled on one end, that great friend becomes a greater enemy, and all the good things that you've done for them, they'll never mention, but that one bad thing you did by breaking contract, covenant with them is going to spread like wildfire. It is not worth it. Let's continue to develop you. Let's eat up that $70 a month until we're able to find you another way to save it. And thankfully, by the end of that call, we were able to find them another way of saving. We just had to get them out of the mindset that they needed an $800 phone, that they could actually get a $99 phone and save $100 a month. Amen. All right. So you get my point. Relationships and covenants require stability. Stop risking both at the sake of something that seems like a quick fix. Someone said it sounds like don't burn bridges. Absolutely. Even when you don't mean to burn them. Relationships and covenants require stability, and unstable people cannot offer stability. Double-mindedness. Double-mindedness affects churches. Can you believe that? Wow. It's not heaven yet. Double-mindedness affects churches. Why? Because churches are fellowships, and fellowships require stability. Fellowships require strong and loving relationships. Can you offer that to anyone right now? Come on, put it on the screen. Can you offer fellowship? Can you offer strong and loving relationships? Can you offer stability to anyone right now? You know, that's right, stop risking both. We get to a point where we think that the church is heaven. And that was one of the great things my mentor taught me, is stop thinking that the church is heaven. People in church are not perfect. We have not reached glory yet. So when you take that entitlement off your head of expecting so much from people, you leave yourself little room to be let down. I just gave you a nugget right there. Double-mindedness also affects the church, because the church is a place of fellowship, and fellowship requires strong and loving relationships, which means stability. Can you offer that to anyone right now? If you're brave enough, tell me. Give me a yes or a no. Or if you're unsure, you know what I'm going to assume when you put up unsure, tell me, are you able to offer any of that to anyone right now? Be honest. We're amongst delegates. Amen. All right. So let's talk tonight. We've dealt with being unstable for many days. I think 4 weeks, in fact. Tonight we're going to zoom right in and we're going to jump into the spirit or personality of rejection. The spirit or personality of rejection. Stay on with us. You'll get it. I'll help you answer those question marks. The spirit or personality of rejection. See, look at the people saying no. They cannot offer that right now. And I thank you for being honest. Being honest first with yourself and transparent and honest with the rest of us to say it. It requires stability. Absolutely. And if you can't offer it, don't do it. It's not worth the risk. So the spirit or personality of rejection. Rejection. Let me give you the definition for rejection. The sense of being unwanted. It is the sense of being unwanted. Did you get that down? The sense of being unwanted. The definition for rejection. The sense of being unwanted. But listen to this. But wanting to be loved, but at the same time convinced that no one does. Rejection, the sense of being unwanted, but wanting to be loved, but being convinced that no one does. Tell me that doesn't sound like an unstable statement right there. Rejection, the sense of being unwanted. I want y'all to post that. When you tag your friends tonight, when you tag this post, share it on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Will you go ahead and share it for me tonight? And I want you to put a post even up tonight with that. And I want you to share. Rejection, the sense of being unwanted, but all the time really wanting to be loved, but being convinced that no one does. That is clear-cut definition of rejection and instability. Thank you very much for sharing that. So I've got to move on. In the book of Isaiah, I don't have my Bible here at the moment, but I've been looking for my purse for hours and I just found it. In the book of Isaiah, Isaiah wrote about a woman who was forsaken and grieved due to a spirit of rejection. Rejection is real. And rejection does not have an age, a gender, or a race problem. Did you hear me? Rejection does not have an age, gender, or race problem at all. In the book of Isaiah, Isaiah wrote about a woman in Isaiah 54:6. And he said to this woman that you have been or you feel forsaken and grieved due to a spirit of rejection. Rejection is real. One of the problems with rejection is that it causes the rejected personality to seek withdrawal. Withdrawal and isolation. And if you pay attention to the withdrawal and the isolation, you're going to be completely oblivious to what's really going on with your friend, your associate, your spouse, whatever it is. A church member, somebody that you're counseling or meeting with, or someone that you decide to have lunch with, or you met in school. If you get thrown off by people going in and out of isolation and in and out of withdrawal, you're going to miss the fact that you're dealing with a rejected personality. The withdrawal and the isolation is defense mechanisms to protect them. They do this because they're testing to find out, are you going to reject them too? So defense mechanisms is withdrawal and isolation. But what we need to do, and I hope we can get to a few of it tonight in my 15 minutes that I have left, is that we need to uncover the entry point for this trauma in your life. We need to uncover the entry point for when this trauma happened in your life. And I want you to get this visual for me tonight. Rejection. I want you to picture rejection, because sometimes we can't bring the reality of it until we can actually see it or have a metaphor for it. But I want you to see rejection as a wound, some kind of wound that you have. And you got cut, or a piece of your chunk of your skin was snagged on something while you were working with a tool or whatever, and you have a wound. And you never put Neosporin, alcohol, Vaseline, you never put anything on the wound. So what happens to a wound that doesn't get treated? Tell me what happens to a wound that never gets treated. Rejection is painful, and we're going to get to the point tonight of where it comes from and when it enters. Anyone have an idea? It gets infected. Very good. What happens to a wound that has never been treated? It cannot heal. And what happens is worse, is it turns into infection. When you have wounds that are not treated, they do not heal, and worse, they turn into infection. That is how I want you to think of rejection. Whenever you deal with it throughout your day personally or in contact with anyone else, I want you to see it as a wound, because it will keep you from mistreating someone when you realize that they have a cut that has never been treated. Therefore, it's never been healed, and now they have an infection. But do understand that infection can spread. So if you are not ready, if you are not stable, you cannot offer stability, friendship, and fellowship to people, a loving relationship. You cannot enter into relationship with someone who has a wound that has not been healed and has now turned to infection. Infected people are never happy. They're miserable. They have an infection. Can you see it with me? So there's a point I want you to ponder tonight. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you 2 points. 2 points I want you to ponder. First of all, rejection affects identity. Come on, right back to me. Rejection affects identity. Become contagious. Infection ain't no joke. Come on, Marcus. I love it. Rejection affects identity. Thank you, Anya. Rejection affects identity. Because number one, the rejected person feels like something is wrong with them, and then they end up rejection themselves. The rejected person has an identity that has been affected by the rejection, whether it's from childhood or adulthood. We'll talk about those before we get off this line tonight, prayerfully. But the rejected person feels like something is wrong with them, and they end up rejecting themselves. Something has to be wrong with me. Why was I touched at a young age? Why did my parents leave me at a young age? Why did Auntie so-and-so mistreat me when she was supposed to be watching me and taking care of me? Why did Grandma never come to see about me? Why was my dad never in my life? Why was my dad in jail? Why did my mom die? It must have been something wrong with me. I learned this in all the studying that I did do about mourning and divorce and children, is that children think universally. Children think universally. That means they think the world revolves around them, that anything they do, anything that happens is because of them. Children think universally. Sadly enough, when you are rejected in your childhood, that universal thinking grows up with you, and you end up believing that when things happen in life, they happen because of you. Now, I'm going to tell you the other side of that person too, who has to compensate themselves for that feeling, that they'll be the extreme opposite. They'll blame everyone else. They'll have a high ego. They'll be full of pride and exuberating vanity, and it's hiding rejection. It's all built around rejection. Number two, then the rejected person, they'll take on this, no matter how subtle, false personalities. False personalities. That's going to take some time to discuss, so I can give you the 2 points right now, and we'll deal with false personalities maybe on our next lesson. But fear is another mountain. I hope you guys are keeping up with this so you can keep up with what we're talking about here. That rejection, it affects our identity. Making a mistake and deleting word. Rejection brings out fear. Rejection has defense mechanisms, and it's called withdrawal and isolation. Rejection brings out instability. Rejection, that's right, Bishop Wright, thank you. Rejection, it brings out, what else did we say for the sake of teaching this tonight? Rebellion. There's a lot that comes out. So when you deal with the fruit, when you deal with the leaves, you miss the root of what really is going on. So you're attacking someone's withdrawal and isolation. You're trying to minister to somebody's identity. You're trying to help someone from feeling unwanted, when really the root of that whole problem is their rejection. And when you can get to the rejection, which is the root, the leaves and the fruit will automatically die off, and fresh fruit and new leaves will grow on that tree. You got to deal with the root. I'm helping you ministers and deliverance ministers on tonight. Fear is a major mountain, or a stronghold, as we often know that terminology a little better. Fear is a major mountain or stronghold, more commonly known in the person living with rejection. You see all the things that make us unstable? Now this person lives with a lot of fear. And one of the fears that they live with is being rejected. You know, I hear all the time, I want to go out, I want to meet people, but I'm afraid they're going to reject me. Well, you're not ready to meet anyone yet. Let's keep dealing with the rejection. I don't want to be hurt, but you end up hurting people the most, or you end up hurting many people because your defense mechanism is having you protect you, but in the meantime, there's casualties all over the place. Every church you've been to, every marriage that you've been in, every friendship that you've tried to keep, acquire, and maintain are all casualties of the rejection that you need to get help with, because you're rejecting many people to save yourself. It's really sad. And when you see it in life, when you see it play out in life, it's really hurtful, especially if you can't talk to this person and get them to see it themselves. Bishop James Wright, you're hitting it right on the head. So some of the things that people fear, where this rejection now is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Now they have fear with it. No one likes to be rejected. Let's agree on that tonight. No one likes to be rejected. I don't like to be rejected. There's small, minor levels of being rejected. Life offers rejection to us. It's not deadly. But for some people who have traumatically been rejected through many things in their life, simple rejection will take them out. But no matter how simple, no matter how subtle, no matter how much you may deliver, be needing deliverance from this mentality, or maybe you function well in that area. Either way, we all can agree no one likes to be rejected. No one likes to get that letter in the mail that says, I'm sorry, thank you for applying for this job, but we found another candidate. Nobody likes that letter. That's rejection. No one likes to go on an interview and never get a letter. That's rejection. So there's subtle, simple ways, but for the majority, most of us know how to adjust and deal with it because we got our sure footing. We're stable with that. That doesn't blow us and take us far left and, cause us to do crazy things, cause us to go out and blow all our money, and cause us to go out and mistreat people or anything like that. Because as much as rejection hurts, we're not unstable. But to the one who lives with the extreme trauma of being rejected, even something like that can take them out. So fear keeps them locked behind a prison. And some of the things that they're afraid of is they have a fear of being rejected. They have a fear of being laughed at. They have a fear of being hurt. They have a fear of being abandoned. They have a fear of being mistreated. And the list can go on and on and on and on. So let's talk quickly tonight. How does rejection enter? How does rejection enter? often at a young age. Mainly the majority of rejection that counselors and statistics and all these great people have kept a database on is that most rejection enters very subtle, that is true, Aura, but it also enters more when we are young. And it also can happen when you're in the womb. Did you read that in the book? Did you read that in Apostle Eckhart's great work? Absolutely. I love your comments. I agree with them. Rejection happens usually when you're young, but it can also happen from the womb. You can be rejected from the womb. That's called prenatal rejection. Prenatal rejection. And this can happen, some statements that I'll give you tonight, I'm not going to go through all of them, but prenatal rejection happens when pregnancies are unplanned. When they're unplanned pregnancies. If you suffer rejection and you're one of my clients that I'm counseling or advising, and some that I've had to send them on a family history. Some have never gone to the grave to see their mom, and some of their soul homework has actually been, I need you to find your mother's grave, and I need you to make whatever peace you can make there, and I want you to start taking responsibility for loving your mother in the grave. And they're like, what? No, we're not conjuring the dead, but I want you to put some flowers there. I want you to, some have even gone out and decided they were going to get is it a tomb? What is it called? For the top of the grave marker, that they were actually going to go out and put a grave marker on. They just, out of anger, they think they accepted the death of their parent, but they will never go to the grave or never try to find the grave because they were so rejected by their death. Can you imagine? People can be rejected by someone else's untimely death. And I've sent men and women to find their parents' grave and go make peace at that grave. And I'm telling you, it has done tremendous work for them. And I told them, I said, take some pictures. I want you to put it in a photo album. And I want your son and your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren to know that there's a history, that rejection stopped the day you went and made peace at that grave. And no, you know that mama wasn't there and you couldn't talk to her. You know that daddy wasn't there and you couldn't talk to him. But you got out what you needed to got out, and the angels of heaven made a note of what you needed to handle that day. And the rejection began to heal. They felt like they were actually connected to a mother or a father without ever meeting them, because they took a part of their history and they left it out in the darkness. And they pretended that it didn't exist, and they thought that that was healthy for them. And they found out that they couldn't confront rejection because they were avoiding the death of their parents that broke their heart. And I'm talking about 5 and 7 and 10-year-olds whose hearts were broken through death. They felt abandoned. They felt rejected. Especially for those when the mother died, giving birth to them. Somebody help me tonight. When a parent dies through giving birth to you, the amount of responsibility, guilt, shame, rejection, abandonment that you take on, the instability of feeling like it was my fault. If I wasn't born, this wouldn't have happened. And, so the scales are this way. I feel guilt. I feel shame. I feel embarrassed. I feel abandoned. I feel unwanted. Then you got the other side of the scale. Why did you leave me? Why did you abandon me? Why weren't you healthier when you had me so that you could be here for me? Why would you get pregnant if you knew you were sick and there was a chance you weren't going to be here with me? Then they have guilt for feeling that way. Then they're back on this scale. And there we have instability due to rejection and abandonment. It's major. That one could make me cry, because for those, it took so long, if even yet fully, have we been able to help this one to get through the fact that their parent died, their mom died, giving birth to them. It's big stuff. And it carries us through our life, and we don't talk about it because we think we weren't alive when it happened, when we never met mom. So there's no picture of all of this, so it cannot be bothering me today. And it absolutely does break adult hearts for childhood issues. So prenatal rejection, when you're unplanned, through accidental pregnancies, illegitimate babies, rape, parents not wanting a child yet, especially for men. Even gender-specific rejection. There have been parents who wanted a son first and they had a daughter. Then they wanted a son second and they had another girl. It has been rejection. And every time they hear the parent talk about how I wanted a boy, but I'm so glad I got you, it's like I wanted a boy, so glad I got you. They don't hear the second part of the sentence. All they heard was that there's something in me that you didn't want. And it was my feminine side that you didn't want. Or when boys have had to hear their mom say, I wanted a girl, but I kept having you boys. So, you know, I love my boys, but I wanted a girl. I wanted a girl really bad. All they hear is, I wanted a girl, and you are not that girl. Ah, my God, I can go into deepness on that tonight. Anyway, let's go. Let's pick up quickly in a couple minutes that I have left. Rejection by family. Rejection by family. You can be rejected by your family from emotional withdrawal. When they withhold emotion, emotion is a love. It is an affection that God has given us to enjoy on the earth. And the closer we are, the more intimate our emotion and our affection is. And when family and loved ones withhold emotion from us, it is detrimental to our soul and causes a spirit, a personality, a mindset of being rejected. And let me tell you this, married couples, hear me, hear me, hear me. Do not withhold affection from your loved ones because you're mad at them. Do not do that. You are in covenant with them. We cannot be unstable. Now, we do have to address their actions because there are always reactions to an action. But if you have to consistently withhold affection from someone, your issue is bigger than withholding affection. There's a trust issue at the root of this thing, and you need to deal with it. I have a lot of couples that get upset when one or the other steps out, breaks covenant, and has an affair. And I always tell them it's something that I've learned, and I've lived it personally, and I've learned. The marriage did not break at the point of the affair. The marriage did not break when he or she slept with someone else. The marriage broke before that. Tell me, where could that be? And we begin to do our archaeological dig. Most times I hear from one or the other in the marriage that one, believe it or not, men do this often. Withhold emotional support from their wife and causes things to trickle in the marriage that results in what could be an affair. And we begin to attack the fact that they have been unfaithful when really the breakdown in the marriage actually started before the affair. Why did I call out men in this particular area? Because what drives women is emotions. And when men withhold emotional support from us, we look for emotional support elsewhere. For men, usually it's sexual. When we withhold the sexual intimacy to our spouse, they have a problem because men relate sexually. They relate by eyes. Women relate by mind. So when the husband withholds the emotional support of a wife, you are having a breakdown in your marriage. And whether it takes 1 day or 3 days or 3 years, there's going to be a breakdown, and there's probably going to be someone else entering into your marriage covenant because you withheld something that is necessary for her to live on. As necessary as water and air. So withdrawal by the family can be with emotional withdrawal, physical abuse is rejection within the family, abandonment, and adoption. Oh, I have such a great teaching on adoption that I've learned. Welcome, Apostle Martha Melvin. All right, rejection in the family. We're going to move on now to rejection in society. Rejection in society. You are rejected in society when you are not accepted by your peers. And some of the tedious things can cause you to be rejected by your peers, and it can be your physical features. And that is a form of rejection, and it affects people differently. You can be rejected by peers in society because of your race, because of your gender, because of your age, and because of your economic difference. It's still rejection. When you have to go to work every day, and they have them on the schoolyard, and they have them in the office, those corporate bullies. And they have their cliques, and they have their crews, and they can reject you because your nose is too big, because your lips are too small, because your skin is too white, because they can't tell what color you are. They can neglect you because of your education. They can neglect you, which leads to rejection because of your race, because of your gender, and because of your economic difference. This stuff is real. And when you've had years of it, you actually suffer trauma in society by peers. Then we have... don't want to go further. Oh, here we go. Then we have rejection at the beginning of life. We talked about prenatal rejection. Now we have rejection at the beginning of your life. You can be rejected because you were born with birth defects, rejected through sickness. You can be rejected, come on, this is a big one, because you are the middle child of favorites. Come on, is that drop the mic? I love you too, Apostle. Is that a drop the mic moment? 3 blessed children, but because you're the middle child in between 2 favorites, you are suffering rejection. When your father shows weakness in their roles, it causes the child to suffer rejection. This one right here blew my mind. Now, I had taught this for years, but I never had any, if you will, circumstantial evidence. I couldn't find anywhere in Bible or book that explained to me, why do women suffer when they did not have a male role model in their life that was strong? Now, I've met a lot of women who were raised by both parents, and they've had issues that, in my opinion, they should not have had. And then I've met women who didn't have a father in their life and did not have the same issue as those that did. And I found out with confirmation through the work, again, that Apostle John Eckhart has done, that when a father does not show strength in his role in the relationship, it affects the children. When you have a passive father, men, husbands, fathers, we've got to line up to our roles, not to be abusive, not to be dictators. You cannot be passive aggressive with them. You cannot, say, ask your mother. That was the house I came out of. Ask your mother. And then we go to the aggressive one, mom, who everything was no. And if we dare ask again, we'd walk out of there holding our lip or something. But dad was passive. And that affects things in your life. It is very important for a man to know who he is and to father up for his children, both sons and daughters. It is very important. It causes rejection. Why does it cause rejection? Because your purpose in their life is not being met because you are passive in your role. So they're not able to understand what a father represents, what a father is. They are not able to glean from your attributes because you are withholding from them the piece of you that they need in their life to grow healthy and be functional. Thank you, Will. Are y'all with me tonight? Am I making sense? When you have a dad in your life, when there's a man in your life, it doesn't have to be your biological father, but when there's a man in your life and he's passive and he's not showing you, he's not giving you what you need from a father, you are in fact being rejected by the gift that he has in him to give you that he refuses to give you. It is important. And it will show from the women what kind of men she picks. And it will show from the men what kind of women he picks. Parental roles are very, very important. Rejection starts at the beginning of life through molestation and incest. Arguing and fighting parents that does this in front of their children. It rejects the child. Alcoholism. Failure to be forgiven or trusted by your parents causes you to be rejected. That's why, parents, you cannot baby your children. You have to, in fact, give them little life lessons where they can see that you trust them because it makes them feel secure and strong and not rejected that you have to do it because they are not good enough to do it or because you don't trust them. So you withhold opportunity from them because you don't trust them, and that opens up the door for rejection. It can also happen at the beginning of life from family members who have sudden death or sudden imprisonment. When parents have children that they have no interest in their schoolwork, that is rejection. And children left home alone too much, they cause the children to suffer a form of rejection. Rejection later in life happens in broken engagements. If you have been engaged and the engagement broke, that is rejection. Why? Because I say it every time. We were not made. Our original intent and purpose and plan was not to have a life like this. So we were not built to survive such heartache and heartbreak. But because we are, there is a God who sees about our needs and causes us to triumph in every area of our life. But we need counsel, we need healing, and in a lot of cases, we need good old-fashioned deliverance. So if you have gone through a broken engagement, you have suffered, sir, ma'am, you have suffered rejection. If you have gone through a breakup in just your dating season, you have suffered rejection. Divorce, you suffered rejection. If you've been deserted, that's rejection. Even death, early death by someone you loved, you are suffering rejection. We talked about this Sunday in church. If you can take the time and go on the Apostles' House YouTube, get Sunday's message. We dealt with rejection from death. Mental cruelty by your spouse, that is rejection. And now that you know a little bit about a rejection, trace everything that goes with it. From unstable, from fear, from rebellion. I bet you it's in your life now. Because of the cruelty that you suffer from your spouse, you are taking rejection every time you suffer that cruelty. Shame in your family, prison term, inability to find relief from mental, emotional, or physical problems is a form of rejection. Being fired, let down by trusted people, financial embarrassment, being fired from a job, unable to find employment is all rejection later in life. Yes, that's what I'm talking about right now, Brother Future. What about trust issues as adults? This is rejection later in life, is a topic I just ran through. That's for adults, and it is in there. You are 100 on that. Rejection will cause altered and extreme behaviors. That's what for Jesus gave me a super heart. Can we take a moment right now? If you have on your Periscope page a little heart in the bottom of your screen, can you go ahead and give me a super heart? According to Periscope, it is very important to them to help me get this message about. It's about children and adults. It's about male and female. It's a general open book conversation. If you have super hearts, can you send up some future hearts, some super hearts right now? Because according to Periscope, I need them. I need 155,300 and something of them in order for them to take this message serious enough to send it out and do the work. Thank you, Mishi, for a super heart. Thank you for a super heart. Come on, Periscope. Send me up a super heart. If you don't have one, you need to flip your screen when we're done, and you need to sign up to be able to give super hearts. It is important for us to get So Detox message up. Thank you all on Facebook Live that are giving me the thumbs up and the super hearts right now. Someone else is giving me super hearts. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We need them to get this message across. Let me finish just so we can get done. Just about done. Rejection also alters and causes extreme behaviors. It alters your behavior and it causes extreme behaviors. This person's behaviors and the spirits that follow the rejected personality. Okay? We're going to deal with the person's behaviors and the spirits that follow the rejected personality. Thank you. Come on, send them up. Lust. People who suffer from rejection have major lust issues. Not normal lust issues, major lust issues. Why? Because of rejection, they lack true love. So lust is a form of compensation to cover them for the substitute of the true love that they're not getting. If you suffer with lust and you felt like you fall into this category of a rejected person, and you want to know where lust fits in, this is where lust fits in. It fits in because it is a substitute for you for true love. And remember, for the rejected person, you may have true love. You might just have it. But remember how I opened up? I opened up telling you that rejection is the sense of being unwanted, but wanting to be loved, but convinced that no one does. You may really have true love, but because of this deep-rooted rejection, trauma, personality that you have, you are caught up in a lust tunnel because it is a substitute for true love that you don't believe you deserve, that you have, or that you've earned. Come on, y'all, help me out. Altered and extreme behaviors in the rejected personality, sexual behaviors at a young age, sexual impurity, adultery, seduction, heavy masturbation, incest, fantasy lust, and uncleanness. Lust also manifests in overindulgence of food, materialism, bulimia, drugs, alcohol, clothing, and so on. Lust is not just sexual. Lust for the rejected person also manifests in overindulgences of food, materialism, bulimia, drugs, alcohol, and clothing. You know, someone that spends a lot of money on clothing, never wear the same outfit twice, they have a lust. That is the offspring to substitute a love that they don't believe that they have, or don't believe that they have a right to have in their life. They don't feel worthy enough for it. So they overindulge in things. And they have fantasies, and they call them fantasy demons. What are fantasy demons? Fantasy demons is a lot of daydreaming, a lot of pornography, or excessive hobbies to help you escape your reality. The battlefield of the mind. Yep, lust is the offspring of rejection. And that includes masturbation. It includes fantasy lust, which is daydreaming, and pornography, and even excessive hobbies to help you escape reality. Watch people who are always on computers. They don't have time to go anywhere. They don't have time to do anything. They always have an excuse because they have what they call fantasy lust. In some teachings, it's called fantasy demons. Perversion. We talked about perversion is an altered behavior. Perversion. Perversion is when you reject your own self. See, we need to do a whole teaching just on perversion because we've limited perversion to two things. And it's bigger than that. Perversion is when you reject yourself. Perversion is when you reject your own sexual identity. Insecurity and inferiority, and it causes you to have a low self-esteem. So because you feel insecure and inferior, it now causes you to have a low self-esteem. Your low self-esteem now introduces you to perversion because that shows that you have a rejection of your own sexual identity. Rejection makes a person feel low and causes them to have low self-esteem. So to compensate, the rejected person will become prideful, full of vanity, a large ego, and it's all to feel better about themselves. These are called compensation spirits. This is heavy. I'm going to have to stop for tonight because this stuff I can't just mull over. We've got to dig in. Do you agree? Somebody got a knife and fork? We need to dig into this. These fantasy demons, this perversion, which is a rejection of your own self and your own sexual identity. Compensation spirits. I think I need to stop because we can't just blow them off with just a word. We need to dig in a little bit. We need a knife and fork. All right, Apostle Melvin agrees. So I'm going to stop right there. I'm not going to go any further. But we're going to add self-accusation and depression. We're going to add all this to it on next week. That's right. Put the knife and fork up because you all are worth it to me to take the time to dig in and take the time to teach and not mull over such great teaching and truths and understanding. So how are you tonight? Come on, give me one word before we end. How are you tonight? I've given you a lot. You have replay. And you have replay, and you have replay again until we come back on next Monday at 9 o'clock. How are you? All right, Brother Future. He said, great. I've had a couple of men inbox me lately that's worth mentioning because they were very thankful for the teaching. And they said that they see how this even works for men. And this isn't just a woman thing. And we need to stop making emotions about women because a lot of men suffer because they don't realize that they have emotions, that they're able to talk about emotions and deal with emotions. And it was very encouraging in the conversation because he mentioned some of the things in his childhood. And, you know, it's just good to see the men jumping on board and understanding that we need deliverance. We need healing. We need help. We need a place, first of all, that's safe for us to talk. Bless you. Bless you, Brother Future. Thank you so much for even telling me that. That encourages me, just him saying I needed to hear this. I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you with your life. I'm going to help you as far as you let me in, and I'm going to help you as long as you let me stay. But that is my commission, to help you become the better you. You can't ignore this. You know, Monday nights are good. Monday nights are going to help you for a while. January is going to help you for a while. But there's going to be a point when you're going to have to admit to yourself you need some one-on-one counseling as well. And we'll be here. And by then, I believe I'll have more of a team. And I'll have more appointment times available because I'll be able to spread some of the work out. And it won't just be me anymore. I believe that. Because this thing is major. And it's getting big. And I just appreciate all of you who've been with me since January 2nd and those who've been with me just from tonight. Thank you, Jackie 3, for the super heart. I need the super hearts. Remember, 155,000. I'll find out next week what number we're at now. But I couldn't do it without you. I wouldn't even feel that God would want this project to go any further without you. So I thank you. Again, please download the app. Please check out the website, SuzanneMHoward.com. We still have some t-shirts left. We have the extra larges coming in, I think, by Monday. You can get your t-shirt. They're in black or pink. There's other items up there. And bring Soul Detox to your church. Bring it to your job. Bring it to your family. I've had 2 family meetings where I've come in and I've healed families from long-term issues. And the majority of them were misunderstandings, childhood behavior, or perceptions. And we got all that stuff out of the family and brought that family back through healing. I miss you too, Jamel King. Where are you now? I will keep you and your wife in prayer. I will write that down right now so that I don't forget. You're welcome, Cheryl. I love you. Jamil and wife. 5:30 a.m. When I put on my Juanita Bynum Behind the Veil, I'll be taking y'all with me. Well, thank you for being on with me tonight. We'll be on again. Please, again, download the app. I want to see you smile back at me when I come on with my private personal broadcast for you. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I'm hoping that you are on again. I don't think that I am. I don't know what prime means, but I hope that I am. Pray for me as I pray for you. Continue to do what God has called you to do. I'm your mentor, your life coach, your church online, and whatever you need it to be to make you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. God bless you, and I'll see you again soon. Send me your emails. Send me your comments. Send me your feedback. It helps us to be relevant and to stay relevant with what the world is going through. We don't want to be locked behind a wall or in a building or behind a bunch of rules. We want to know what is going on in the world so that we can be relevant to reach the world that we have been called to. So again, my prayer for you tonight is that above all things, that you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. Please inbox a friend this message on tonight, someone that you know that could be blessed by it. Please post it on your Instagram, your Twitter, your Facebook accounts, and let them know that we are detoxing on Monday nights and they need to join us. God bless you, and thank you very much. Night all. Love you. I got to get on again. There's just so much information. So much information. I just feel like we just stopped in the worst place, but you know me, I'll make up for it. Bless you. God bless you all. We had some interesting people here on Periscope, but so far they were all very respectful. No religious attacks, no sexual comments. Periscope was very respectful. I didn't have to block anyone. I just let them talk whatever they were talking. Some actually jumped in the conversation. So we're doing what we need to do, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bishop. You and your family mean so much to me. Your sister and your mother mean so much to me. All right. God bless you all. See you next Monday or maybe before.